Hey guys and gals, I got another one for you today. Today I'm in my chisel on Salvage Yard Team Destruction. To tune up with Hoops, he's in his T110E5, and just got a little story, kind of pertains a little bit to this video. We'll just talk about the different types of players in the game. I'm not going to go in depth by any means, breaking it down, but it is a fun game, and what brings this up is my thoughts when I'm playing, and when it comes down to like everyone who dies in the beginning, what players are left, how the map's set up and everything, and then if you die, you kind of have a sense or a feeling on whether the game is won or lost. If you have enough experience and games played to know whether the game is going to be won or lost. Whereas when I first started, I didn't really care. I just went in, I tried to get my experience so I could get to tier 10 as fast as I can, which is not the right way to do it, but I didn't know better. So that's kind of the thought process through this video. A little bit about this map. A0, most important thing, get on top of the hill, win the hill. It is team destruction, so we don't have to worry about our cap. However, Artie is a very important asset on this map generally. Sometimes they don't actually help out, which is annoying, but Artie is like one of the best Artie maps in the game, in my opinion. When I play Artie and I see this map, I get really excited because you get bunches of tanks like you see in E0, or you see in A8 or 9. So it's hard to miss when you're in Artie. So even though you don't have to protect the spawn, protecting Artie on this map could be a key asset to winning the game. Now, one thing I don't see medium tanks do often, I shouldn't say often, I guess that's just kind of me being salty, but there are times where the mediums will not go to the choke because they're not a heavy tank, so they don't want to go there. They're flanking, they want to wait to see what goes there, and then they'll flank accordingly if needed, and that can definitely help win the game. However, my feeling is the fast medium tanks, if they get to the choke first, they can make up all the ground, right? So because I came here first, the red team is now stuck in F0 in an uphill battle. They have to try very hard to, work their way up the hill and win the game, or find a different tactic. However, if I didn't do that, maybe they'd be up in more like C0, where they have a better chance to fight from. So that's kind of what I talk about when I say the mediums should take the flank or take the choke first. You can gain a lot of ground if the mediums take it and hold. The risk that you have is, are your heavies actually going to come support you? And often I die because I'm in my medium tank and I go try to take the choke, get the red spotted, and then they'll slowly figure out that I'm the only one there, so then I have to try to evacuate because my heavies didn't push up to where I was, because they're not used to it. They're not used to having that much ground in the choke to be able to play with, is my opinion. Maybe I'm all wrong and naive, but whatever. However, so the other day I was playing with Gilby, and he told me about how he was playing solos, and he was on Ruinberg in his low, and it was pretty much full tier 8 match, except there's 2 tier 10s on each team. One in particular was a Super Conqueror on his team, and I think he spawned in the south. Ruinberg is like the half moon city on the left side of the map, and then there's a field out on the right side. And he spawned in the south, he went up to the choke. After he died, because he got overwhelmed, he went around to see which tanks were left and on his team, and down in K1 was their Super Conqueror. So he was very frustrated. He started pinging him, telling him to go to the choke, and then the Super Conqueror proceeds to turn his mic on, and he's like, of course the people that are dead have to turn their mic on and make an opinion about everyone else and how they play the game. and Gilby decides to turn his mic on to talk to him in probably not the best fashion, but we've all been there. We're irritated, especially when somebody tries to defend the fact that they're a high tier heavy tank and they're sniping in the back and not really providing any support or using their armor. So I don't exactly remember what Gilby all said back to him. However, he makes a point that he doesn't care because he has a premium day and he's just trying to make silver. And then Gilby said, well, we could have won the match had you been up there helping me out. And he's like, well, if you would have asked me to help right away, I probably would have came and helped you. He's like, well, you're a high tier heavy tank, so why didn't you just come up there in the first place? And he says, I don't care if we win, I just want to make silver, and I have premium time. So from that conversation, I take from it that he usually doesn't have premium time, but he has premium time now, and he's excited to play his tier 10s. So they get to the end of the match, and he's like, see, screw you, I made like 25,000 silver. And Gilby's like, wow, that's great, I made 35,000 silver in my low. And then the guy just shut his mouth and left the game at that point. So what I'm getting at is there's obviously different levels of players that play this game, and we really don't know who's who. Generally, the ones that I see in the back I feel like are less experienced, especially like a Super Conqueror that is hiding on Ruinberg when he's playing against tier 8s, whereas if myself or my platoon mates were in a city match in our Super Conk against tier 8s, we'd be drooling and really pushing hard to try to maintain the front line. But it comes with experience. And then also, I can speak to this guy as far as how hard it is to play with while not having premium time, because the first portion of my career on this game was not having premium time. I had downtime and I would spend it playing the game, but I really didn't want to spend money on the game because I didn't know how long I'd play it. So I never really bought premium time. I used to sell my premium tanks that I earned in ops, like the CDC and the Motherland. I would sell those for silver because that's how I could make easy silver to buy tech tree tanks. And I always thought that premium tanks were just seal clubbing tanks and it was pay to win. Not really realizing how important crews are and how that the crew actually makes those tanks so much better. For instance, once the Motherland first came out from the op that they gave it away, I thought it was like one of the best tanks because a lot of players that were in them had good crews in them and wanted to play them, mark them up, make silver, whatever. So every time I came around playing a Motherland, that tank was very difficult for me to deal with. And now when I play against them, well, they're not that tough. I know when a good player's in it, and I know when a less experienced player's in it, and how they play the tank, how they angle their armor. But before I didn't know that, so I just thought that the Motherland was a seal clubbing premium tank that people bought. Because you learn as you go, right? So if you probably noticed that I've blocked out a certain player on the team, and I'll talk about that coming up here. But we've pretty much won the hill, and we've given up the rest of the map. We lost our Artie because we didn't protect him, nor did we go get their Artie because we gave up that part of the map. So we're down to 3 players on our team, 3 on theirs, and they have artillery. So at this point, I'm kind of frustrated. I asked them to fall back. However, my E75 starts to push forward, and I realize, if we're going to do this, I might as well just push with him. We have the best opportunity. Either I'm going to save him some hit points, or we're going to kill him together. And the 277 sees that I'm an easy target, so he shoots at me, and I think he just takes a snapshot, or he just misses, and I get lucky, hit that shot with a dead gunner. Now as I come down here, I spot Artie. Now, this is where I make a misplay, and I should have just wiggled rather than back up and stop. But Artie makes a nice shot, takes him out, and then our E75 takes him out. So there's a heavy in the middle, and then there's their Patton that I know is somewhere in the B5 location, but he's probably going to be sporting the T32. So I'm trying to give intel to these guys on where I think they are. And the E4 has already hit their T32 and has lit him on fire, and he doesn't burn out all the way. Now the good thing is this E75 is full health. However, I'm frustrated with that, and I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this. E4 is down to 600 hit points. The Patton and the T32 might be able to pull this off, but the E75 needs to just take this T32 out so the Patton's by himself, and he decides to do that. E75, and this is where people would make an argument with me, and that's fine, but he should have been pushing harder on the 0 line. Had we pushed together down the hill when they were shorthanded, we would have won this game pretty handily. If you re-watch it, not that you have to, but you'll notice that Hoops and I and the E75 and the E4 all take the highest ground on the high ground in B0, whereas like 6 of my teammates take the lower high ground in B9, which if you're in B9, you can get shot in the side from the rest of the map. Now you're probably thinking, Mav, how does all this make sense and come together, the story and the game? Well, the reason I've been keeping this guy's profile blocked out is because I'm going to show you some stats, and I don't want to stat shame him. So, just kind of want to bring up that story of, it starts out with Gilby's story of the super conch that didn't want to play, this E75 that saved all his hit points, which seemed valuable because had he not been full health, we probably wouldn't have won this. But then had he used some of his hit points earlier, we probably would have just steamrolled him and got the win and been able to get out of this game. So there's that push and pull. And look at the stats. Excellent game, 41,000. That's quite a bit assist. E75 takes top dog with 3,600. E4 takes second with 5,500, and I take third. But then let's break down his stats. So these are the only tanks that this guy's played, and we're going to start at level 5 because that's where he at least has 30 games in. But he plays the VK 3001 for 42 games, 36 for 31 games, a Tiger for 67, Tiger 2 for 151, so on and so forth. But the interesting thing really about this is his win rate goes down as he gets higher. So as he goes up to tier 10, he struggles a little bit more to play, and that's probably why he plays passive. So the story is like, just have an open mind that there's different levels of different players, and I need to too. So that's why I wanted to bring this to light. Just kind of everybody needs to take a chill pill, I think. That's all I got for you. I'll quit rambling. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you next video.